Welcome everybody to Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the Las Vegas 135. My name's Josh Hall and we're here on Intensity Broadcasting with iRacing here in the SCSRA Truck Series. And we're looking forward to a great race here tonight at Las Vegas, already at the top of the speed charts. Devin Bacino. Joseph Wright, though, not too far behind him. Then Derek Chaput, Dave Wright, and Mark Shaver. So small field here so far. We only got 15 drivers out on track. But small fields doesn't mean small excitement, as we're looking for a great run here tonight. Let's take a look at our point standings coming into tonight. Devin Bacino is your points leader. Logan Hagerman, Matthew Scott, Michael Provault, and Joseph Wright, your top five. Stephen Black back in sixth. Kyle Mays, Brian Merle Jr., Isaiah Gill, and Mark Shavers, your top 10. And you can find all of the points, stats, standings, and schedule at simracerhub.com. That's simracerhub.com for all of your iRacing stats needs. And I just realized I have the wrong name up on the ticker, so let me get that fixed. As we got just a few minutes left here in practice before we get qualifying underway. See Logan Hagerman having some issues out on track, a little bit of damage, and a lot of these drivers having a little bit of issues here tonight. Las Vegas, slick track. It's bumpy. There's a lot of bumps that can really upset the truck, and we're going to see that a lot here tonight. Also, I just want to throw out there, make sure that my sound is good. I've got a couple of reports from people saying my sound was a little low the last couple of races, so let me know in the chat. Give me a thumbs up or let me know that everything sounds good on your end here tonight on Intensity Broadcasting, as we got qualifying about to go underway. And the first driver out on track is the 4 of Craig Schroeder in that Chick-fil-A machine. The great looking truck there, that Chick-fil-A machine. Also out of the moment, don't forget about the Intensity Broadcasting e-store at intensitybroadcasting.com, your one-stop shop for all your favorite Intensity Broadcasting and league apparel. We have hats, t-shirts, mugs, mouse pads, stickers for Intensity Broadcasting, all your favorite leagues, including the SCSRA, Original Rebels, Thunderstruck, Mayhem Modifieds, Extreme Forces. So check that out, intensitybroadcasting.com. As Craig Schroeder starts his first of 2 laps here as he works down the backstretch, runs that middle lane. Now the middle lane is kind of where you want to run with fresh tires, as it allows you to keep the truck wound up, keep the pedal down, not have to lift, but also keeps you out of those bumps. There's some bumps down on the bottom of the track that can really get the truck out of shape, and we're seeing tonight that a couple of these guys are having some struggles with those bumps. Craig Schroeder currently at the top of the speed chart, now runs that low line through turns 3 and 4. As he makes his way off of turn number 4 down to the apron to cross the line. And Schroeder is going to move. Oh, I thought he was going to bump Bacino there, but he runs the exact same time as Bacino. So see if Bacino out on track right now. Let's see if he can increase or better his time here to take solid possession of that front row. And he does. He runs a 69. Nice. To put himself up on the pole. See Eddie Morris leaving pit lane now in the 8 machine. The Octagon Racing machine. As he rolls out onto the backstretch to start his first of 2 laps. So I know this time and scoring on the screen shows Bacino ran a 68, but I'm seeing that he ran a 3069 or a 30686. So we'll round that one up as Eddie comes down the backstretch here. And into turns 3 and 4. And as Eddie comes across the line for his first of 2 laps, he's going to move himself up into the 3rd position with a 30.81. See if he's able to improve on his 2nd lap here. Right down on that white line through the corner, trying to get the shortest way around the track. So he makes his way down through turns 3 and 4. And across the stripe, and Eddie Morris is going to move himself. He's not going to move himself. He ran the exact same lap that he ran his first lap, so he's going to stay in the 5th position. Mark Shavers jumps up to 4th. Bobby Mays up to 2nd. Let's ride along with Joe Wright so you can see exactly how bumpy this track really is. If you look at his hands as he comes down through the straightaway. Nice and smooth on the wheel. And those little movements that you're seeing, those aren't the driver inputs. Those are the bumps on the track, especially as you come through turns 1 and 2 here. There's a big bump right there, and you just saw him kind of hit it. It really bottoms out the truck and can really upset the truck. As he comes down the backstretch, again, very bumpy. You'll see that on the broadcast when all the trucks are coming down the backstretch. Another big bump right here that can really upset your truck. Send it up the track as Joe's going to stay right down on the apron. Come across the line, and he is going to move himself up into the 2nd position with a 30.71. So a great lap there for the 82 of Joe Wright. The fabulous Isaiah Gill coming out on track. So we got about 4.5 minutes left of qualifying. As he comes down the backstretch, you'll see just how bumpy this track is. You see how much that truck is really moving around down the backstretch, which is no fun for the drivers, especially as the tires wear out. Trucks are going to really start to move around quite a bit. So we see Isaiah come across the stripe here. His first lap is going to be good enough for 15th. As Isaiah comes through turns 1 and 2, through turns 3 and 4 down to the apron. And Isaiah is going to put himself up into the 5th position. So a great run there for Isaiah. Let's see if we can see if anybody else is going to take a lap. Todd Mays just finished his qualifying attempt. One driver left to qualify. That'd be Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence. And with over almost 3 minutes left, I'm surprised to see Cheeseburger not out there putting the lap down. Again, let's take a look back at the point series. A couple people just tuning in. I'll make sure you know where everybody's favorite driver is with Devin Bacino, your points leader currently. Logan Hagerman sitting back in 2nd. Matthew Scott, Michael Provost, and Joseph Wright, your top 5. And Stephen Black, Kyle Mays, Brian Merle Jr., Isaiah Gill, and Mark Shavers round out your top 10. Take a look to see where your favorite driver sits in points. Of course, you can find all of the point standings, the schedule, any stats you'd like for this league at simracerhub.com. That's simracerhub.com. While we're talking about .coms, don't forget about IntensityBroadcasting.com for all of your merchandise needs for all of your favorite leagues here on Intensity Broadcasting. Devin Bacino puts up the fire emoji. Devin, just want to check in, make sure everything sounds good on your end, and Devin on pole yet again with that beautiful 30.69. So about a minute and a half left. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow night as the SCSRA Xfinity Series takes on Richmond Speedway. So that'll be a great race at Richmond Raceway in the Xfinity cars. Thursday night, we've got Thunderstruck. Friday night, Extreme Xfinity Series. Saturday night, the Sunday Cup Series. And the Sunday night truck doubleheader on the Original Rebels Racing League. And that is turning out to be 2 great seasons this year. Some exciting racing, especially this past weekend. Some exciting racing, some beating and banging side-by-side racing at Las Vegas in the trucks. You want to check that out. That is the Original Rebels Racing League. I'm sorry, they were at Kansas, not Las Vegas, but very similar track and shape and speed, and they'll be moving on to Bristol this Sunday. So if you like short track racing, check out the Original Rebels Racing League. And if you want a really good Bristol race, check out the race that we just had with the Doghouse Racing League, sponsored by Shoney's. They just put on a heck of a show at Bristol Motor Speedway in the trucks before this. So after this one's over, if you have some time, go back and check out the Doghouse Racing League. And of course, I hear there was a great race last night in the Extreme Forces Racing League at the ARCA cars at Bristol. So a lot of Bristol racing this week, and some great racing all around. And Bristol's always an exciting track for sure. So we want to make sure to check out all the Bristol races this week. But let's take a look at your grid with Devin Bacino on pole with Joe Wright, his outside, in spot number 2. Row 2. We'll find the 5 of Bobby Mays and the 4 of Craig Schroeder. Isaiah Gill will be rolling off 5th with Todd Mays to his outside in 6th. Mark Shavers, he'll be rolling off 7th with David Wright in the 84 in the 8th position. Your 5th row will be Eddie Morris in the 8 with Sylvan Seguin to his outside in the 66. Then the corniest truck on track, Logan Hagerman, he'll be rolling off 11th with Michael Provolt in the 12th position. Brian Nudie qualifying way back in 13th, and Brian Merle Jr. to his outside in 14th. Derek Chaput will roll off 15th in the 37 machine with Matt Scott in 16th, and Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence in the Retro Atari truck will be rolling off in the 17th position. Take a look at the track information. Air temperature 66 degrees. Track temperature 67 degrees, so cold track. Nice and slick. We'll see these guys slip sliding all around as tires wear off, fuel wears off. It's going to be one heck of a race. As we get ready, as they continue to grid up and we get ready to roll out here at Las Vegas. Here we go. Pace car is rolling. So as we get ready to do battle in the desert here in Las Vegas, they usually say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But those bragging rights for winning here tonight aren't going to stay here very long. With Devin Bacino getting the pole with Joe Wright to his outside. This is a track that I know Joe likes. So we should see a great battle here tonight. Also good to see Bobby Mays up there in 3rd. Maybe he can do some battle here and steal a victory away tonight. As the field rolls through turns 3 and 4, these 17 truck cars are getting ready to do battle here at Vegas. As the pace car gets ready to take that hard left-hand turn on the pit road. And Devin Pacino's going to lead them down to the starting zone. Green flag is in the air. We are racing here at Las Vegas. And already a side-by-side battle as Joe Wright's trying to lose a little side draft here to stay alongside Pacino as they work their way into turns 1 and 2. Isaiah Gill having a great start already up into the 4th position, working that low line as he works his way off of turns 2. And the field already starting to spread out as they work their way through turns 3 and 4 for the first time. And you see Joe up on the high side, Pacino run that low side, Bobby Mays run the middle lane as Joe gets loose off the corner. Great save for Joe. He's going to lose a ton of time and momentum as he almost clips Mark Shavers there. But a great save out of the 82. Eddie Moore is having some issues as well. Eddie's gone off track. Oh, Eddie's got some damage to the back of his truck. Let's see if we can see what happened to Eddie here. He's already mid-slide by the time we caught him here. And it looks like, he also got a little loose. Came up into Dave Wright. Dave nowheres to go. Eddie goes sliding through the grass here. No harm, no foul, no caution. As now Bobby Mays all over the back bumper of Devin Pacino trying to take away that 2nd position. As we ride along with Devin Pacino, we see Isaiah Gill now working down to the inside of Bobby Mays. Great view off the back bumper of the 68 machine. This is a great view also showing just how bumpy this track really is. Isaiah working right down on the apron. Bobby Mays looking down to the inside of Isaiah now. They're side by side behind Pacino, and that's what Pacino wants to see. Those guys side by side, that's going to allow him to be able to kind of pull away a little bit if they work their way down the backstretch. This battle continues side by side. Isaiah Gill on the outside, Bobby Mays on the inside. Right behind him, Mark Shaver is trying to get up into the mix as well. Ooh, Bobby gets a little loose off the corner. Might have been a little contact between him and Gill. Gill still right there on the bottom. Not wanting to give up that 2nd position. Mark Shavers right there just trying to follow through one of these drivers. And while that's going on, they've actually caught Pacino. Usually running side by side is much slower, as now Gill has cleared Bobby, and he's going to try to set his sights on Pacino. Now Mark Shavers down to the bottom looking underneath Bobby Mays. Look off the nose of Isaiah Gill. Isaiah looking down, or up to the high side. He's getting a big run with the draft down the backstretch. He's going to look down to the inside here. They're side by side. Look at Joe right now into the mix as well. Joe back up into the 3rd position. He wants a piece of the action here. It's Isaiah Gill all over the back bumper of Pacino, giving Pacino the push down the backstretch. You saw how loose the 68 just got. But Devin able to hold on. As Isaiah's doing everything he can to try to get around that 68 and using the bumper as well. Now Joe Wright's looking down. Oh, two. Chops the nose off of the 82 with Joe Wright. Joe gets the run. Tries to get a run. Now Bobby Mays back into the picture looking down underneath Joe Wright. And Bobby's going to get around the 82 and move himself up into the 3rd position. Just behind this, we see Mark Shavers and Logan Hagerman battling for position. This is a battle for 5th place on track. And just behind them, we see David Wright trying to get himself up to the mix as Isaiah Gill has now gotten to the outside of Devin Bacino. Bobby Mays right there trying to push Isaiah by. Joe Wright pushes up the track a little bit. Almost gets into the 5 as they are side by side for the lead. And Isaiah Gill is going to lead that lap by just a hair. Oh, slow contact side by side between the 68 and the 2. Bobby Mays now looking to make it 3 wide. Has to back out of it. Smart move for Bobby as now Joe Wright up on that high side, trying to get himself back up towards the front as well. And this time by, Isaiah's going to lead by a little bit more than he did last lap. And we're just 12 laps into this 90-lap race. As the action heats up, Bacino washes up the track just a little bit. Again, almost makes contact with Isaiah Gill. And as they work their way off of turn number 4, Bacino now a little more contact. As Bacino's trying to do everything he can to try to get an advantage off Isaiah, but Isaiah just not moving, not given the room. As these two continue to beat off each other as they come down the backstretch. This time Bacino runs Isaiah up the track, but Isaiah continues to lead here at Las Vegas, but not by much, as now Joe Wright's moved himself back into the 2nd position, or I'm sorry, 3rd position. Bobby Mays, Mark Shavers right there as well. They continue to run side by side for the lead. As they start lap number 15, this is about the time where the tires really start falling off and the trucks really start handling poorly. You see Joe Wright having a little connection issue, a little contact between Joe and Bacino. Bobby Mays able to take advantage and move down underneath Joe Wright. He's trying to take away the 2nd position again, but here comes Bacino and Gill. Ooh, Bacino catches the grass on the front stretch. Doesn't slow him down though. He's still right there underneath Isaiah Gill as they work their way through the corner side by side. And this is frustrating for both drivers. Oh, Bacino gets into Gill and turns him. Gill able to hold on to it. What a save. Now Joe Wright making it 3 wide down on the bottom, take over the lead. Joe Wright slides up into Isaiah. And as they come across the line, Bacino now takes sole possession of the lead as Joe Wright gives a little more of a slide job to Isaiah, sliding him back into 3rd. Here comes Bobby Mays down on the bottom underneath Isaiah. Logan Hagerman right there to pounce as well, but Bacino now back into the lead. Well, contact from the 68 to move Isaiah out of the way. Isaiah pushing back strong now, fighting with Joe Wright for that 2nd position, trying to get himself back up to Bacino and repay the favor. A little further back, Logan Hagerman trying to make a move on Bobby Mays. Bobby running a really defensive line into the corner. Hagerman, though, up on the high side. Looks like he's going to have the big run off the corner as they work their way down into turns 3 and 4. with the tires wearing out, that high side is going to start being the preferred line. And as I say that, Bobby Mays gets around Logerman and up into the 4th position. So Logan Hagerman cracking the top 5, but here comes the 40 of Brian Nudie. Nudie's also trying to make something happen here as he's trying to look to the inside of Shavers as Hagerman and Mays are back side by side again. Up front, Joe Wright has a mirror full of Isaiah Gill. So we ride along with Joe. They are side by side. You see a little crinkle there on the back bumper of the two as they continue to battle side by side. Looks like Gill's going to get the advantage. But Joe's fighting back on that low side, but now he's going to tuck in behind, and you see Logan Hagerman up into the 4th position. So Logan, not wasting any time, up 7 positions up into the 4th position, and now he runs a little high up the track. Mark Shavers looking down to the inside, but not there to make a move just yet. While this is going on, though, Devin Bacino's pulled out to just over a half-second lead over the field, as just behind this we have 3 wide racing. Shavers was just in the middle for a moment, now singling out File. Brian Nudie up in the 7th position and continuing to march forward. Hagerman really the first truck to venture up to that high side, and he's starting to make hay while the sun shines, or at least corn while the sun shines up on that high lane. Just behind him, Mark Shavers and Bobby Mays going at it here. This is for 5th and 6th. Mays down on the bottom. Here comes Brian Nudie as well. Nudie trying to take advantage of Mays being pinched down on the bottom, losing a little bit of momentum. Just not able to make it work just yet. Craig Schroeder, Dave Wright are going at it side by side. This is for 10th. Schroeder down on the bottom. He's going to easily get around Dave Wright, who saw that he was faster and just let him by. Then behind this, the field really starting to spread out. Cheeseburger running all by himself back here. And you've got Todd Mays, Brian Merle Jr., Sylvan Seguin, Matt Scott. Matt, we've seen a lot at the front. It's surprising to see him running right now in the 16th position. And Eddie Morris with a lot of damage to that truck, just hanging on, hoping for a caution. As Joe Wright and Logan Hagerman are now battling for position. Hagerman really using that high lane to propel himself forward. He got to the back bumper of Joe, but was not able to make anything happen. Now he's going to look back up to the high side through turns 1 and 2. And as they cross the line this time, we'll be completing lap number 26. Which tells me these guys are probably getting pretty close to green flag pit stops. I imagine these guys are only going to be able to run about 40 to 45 laps on fuel. That, and I'm sure these guys are crying for tires right now, as these trucks are not handling the same as they did at the start of the race. Bobby Mays with a good run here, trying to get by the 6 of Mark Shavers. Shavers with a little damage to the back end of that truck. So we do have our first taker on pit road. That is the 5 of Matt Scott. A little bit of damage to that truck too. I think he might have gotten into the wall. So it looks like he might be using his reset here, which he does. Isaiah Gill coming down pit road as well. So our first leader on the pit road. Wonder if Gill's going to take a gas and go, or if he's going to take tires as well. See a little bit of damage to the rear end of that truck. Don't think he's going to use his reset here. It doesn't look like it's enough to do any damage. Oh, he misses a pit stop, or his pit stall. So here comes Devin Bacino down on the pit road. Joe Wright right behind him. Craig Schroeder, Derek Chaput, Michael Provolt all on pit road. So we're seeing pit road be a busy place at the moment, as pretty much the entire field is down on pit road. That's going to give the lead to Logan Hagerman. Bobby Mays right behind. I imagine Hagerman will be coming down pit road. Yep, with Bobby Mays. Brian Nudie coming on the pit road as well. Ooh, Nudie really fast on the pit road. Is there 3 wide on the pit road? That's never going to work. Especially with Nudie pitting behind Logan here, so he's going to really have to check up, make his way into his pit stall. When it's all said and done, Devin Bacino will be your leader. Joseph Wright right behind, and Isaiah Gill, who had to back up into his pit stall. And you can see how much that hurt him here, as he's now almost 2 seconds behind Devin Bacino. See Isaiah Gill going by the trucks coming out of the pits. So that's going to put Devin Bacino solidly into the lead by about a half a second over Joe Wright. You can see the interval right there. Oh, Brian Nudie getting loose. He's coming off of turn number 4. We've seen that tonight a couple times. Drivers getting really loose off of the corner on fresh tires. See Eddie Morris out on track. Eddie did pit, but he did not use his reset, so it doesn't look like his damage is too severe, so he's able to continue on. But the interval now between Devin Bacino and Joe Wright is starting to shrink. As you see the gap in real time between Joe Wright and Bacino. Joe able to use that draft to get right back to the back bumper of Devin. As you can hear, Devin not really lifted through the corner. For about the first 10 or 15 laps, you can get away without having to lift. We do see a little bit of damage to the right front of the 82, but that damage is not slowing him down. Behind our leaders, we see this big gaggle of cars here, led by Bobby Mays, Mark Shavers, Logan Hagerman, Michael Provo, Brian Nudie back here as well, and Craig Schroeder. So the rest of the field quite a ways back behind our leaders, as Joe Wright continues to put the pressure on Devin Bacino for the lead. Isaiah Gill still about a second and a half, just over a second back now behind Joe Wright. And last lap by. Our leaders are basically running the same time. Devin Bacino and Joe Wright just both ran a 30.84. Isaiah Gill ran a 30.89. Bobby Mays ran a 30.84. Fastest truck on the track that lap was Mark Shavers with a 30.80. As Joe continues to run in the tire tracks. A little further back though, Mark Shavers all over the back bumper of Bobby Mays, trying to take away that 5th position. Michael Provolt now looking down to the inside of Shavers, trying to take the 6th position away. So a good run for Provolt up in the 6th, with Logan Hagerman right there as well, trying to pounce. See Brian Nudie just not having a very good run tonight, sitting back in the 8th position. Battle heating back up at the front. Joe Wright still all over the back bumper of Bacino. Joe's gotten to the back bumper, but he isn't able to make the pass, as these two have been running pretty much identical times lap after lap. See just how close those lap times are between these two. That time by 1/100th of a second slower Joe Wright was. So very close in lap times, just not able to make anything happen. As we look out back, these guys have finally gotten to get into single file. And running single file like this, much like Daytona or Talladega, you can actually use the draft a little bit to your advantage. And a pack lined up like this can actually run a little bit faster than the group in front of them. So we'll see if Bobby is able to lead this group to catch back up to Isaiah Gill. Isaiah Gill running by himself right now, but he's starting to catch Joe and Bacino just a little bit. And I think that fresh air of him running by himself, not quite close enough to Joe to be up in dirty air, it's able to allow him to start to pull clean and pull up to these guys just a little bit. Way back in the pack, we've got Derek Chaput, Dave Wright, Todd Mays, Matt Scott, all battling here. This is a great battle on track as well. This is 10th through 13th. They were just 3 wide a moment ago, but they were able to get it sorted out and back in line. Joe continuing to run right there on the back bumper of Bacino. And even though it's they were just on pit road not too long ago, I'm sure these guys are already thinking about pit stops as we are crossing halfway this time. So now we're halfway through the race. Imagine within the next 15 laps, you're going to see these guys come back down onto pit road and get their final service done. They weren't able to stretch it, do it in 2 stops, so it is going to be a 3-stop race, so you might as well do it 30-60 to get yourself to lap number 90. Joe looks just to be a little bit loose off the turn number 4 right there. I don't know if he burnt that right rear off trying to catch Pacino here. But definitely that back end sliding out a little bit more than the 68. Todd Mays, Matt Scott going at it. This is for 10th. Oh, Matt Scott gets up into the wall. That's going to allow Mays to get by easy, as well as Dave Wright. So Scott is going to continue. Oh, he's going to park it down on the apron. He's going to park it for the night, as he is does not bring out the yellow flag due to being on the apron. But I think he did too much damage to his truck, and he's going to be retiring for the evening. Behind, we see Mark Shavers and Logan Hagerman side by side. Brian Nudie waiting in the wings if anything happens with these two. Now Nudie up on the high side, getting around the 6 of Mark Shavers. And guess what? Joe has closed right back to that back bumper. He was just on the back bumper. Pulling away. Bacino's pulling away just a little bit now, but Joe was almost pushing Bacino down the backstretch a moment ago. Joe just looks a little bit better than Bacino through turns 1 and 2. And able to get there down the backstretch, able to close in. But Bacino just running 3 and 4 so much better than Joe is. So lap by lap, these two continue to run almost identical lap times. Last time by, Bacino ran in 86. Joe ran in 87. Gil ran in 80 flat. So all 3 drivers right within the same speed, but here comes Bobby Mays trying to take away the 3rd position from Isaiah Gill. Right behind Logan Hagerman and Brian Nudie as well. So this battle back here is starting to heat up. Blake Henley says, looks like a good running out of the 4 truck tonight. Yeah, the Craig Schroeder's had a great run here tonight. He's continuing to have a good run. You see the field come across the stripe. And now Bacino's starting to pull away a little bit from Joe. Doesn't look like it on track, but definitely had a much better lap than Joe that last time by. And we're about 8 laps away, 7 or 8 laps away from green flag pit stops again. We'll see who the first truck to make that jump on the pit road is. But as they run right now, the field will take you through the field real quick before green flag stops happen. Bacino continues to lead over Joe Wright. Sitting back in second, Isaiah Gill started on the front row, currently in 3rd. I'm sorry, Isaiah started back a little bit. Started back in the 5th position, currently in 3rd. Bobby Mays, who started in 3rd, back to 4th. Logan Hagerman up 6 spots, up into the 5th position, and Brian Nudie right behind him, up 7 spots into the 6th position. Mark Shaver started 7th, currently running 7th. Craig Schroeder started 4th, currently back in the 8th position. Michael Provo up into the 9th position, and Todd Mays round out your top 10. Then Dave Wright a little further back in 11th. Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence run back in 12th. Sylvan Seguin back into the 13th position. Eddie Morris, after having a rough start sliding through the grass at the beginning of the race, up in the 14th. Derek Chaput in 15th. Brian Merle Jr. in 16th, and Matt Scott has retired from the race. Well, it looks like Joe is finally starting to slide away from Buccino, as we're just a couple laps away from green flag stops. And Isaiah Gill starting to close in on these guys just a little bit as well. He's cut the lead down to half a second, which was just over a second, as Isaiah peels off on the pit road. He's the first driver to hit pit lane. He was the first driver on the first run to come down pit road. He's the first driver on the second run as well. Which means we should see Devin Buccino and Joe Wright come down pit road this time by, as they did last. No, they passed pit road. They both passed pit road that time. So they're going to try to push it one more lap. Craig Schroeder, though, does come down onto pit road. Buccino works his way down the backstretch. Joe Wright continuing to lose time on our leader. And if I was Joe, I'd come down and pit either way this time, whether Buccino comes down the pit road or not, as Buccino is slowing down for pit road. Joe does stay out, so he's going to go for lead a lap here. Brian Nudie on pit road. Michael Provo on pit road as well. You can see it at the bottom of your screen. When pit is flashing, that means that they are on their way to the pit stall. When pit is solid, that means that they are in their pit stall getting service. When the pit time comes up, that is the time spent stationary. And when they leave pit road, that will be the time that you'll see for fully on and off of pit road. Joe Wright, Logan Hagerman down on the pit road now this time, along with Bobby Mays, Mark Shavers as well. Devin Buccino just getting off of pit road. We'll throw up the track map so we can see exactly where everybody cycles out here. As Buccino works his way through turns 3 and 4. Joe Wright is just off of pit road. Let's see if Buccino is able to beat Joe completely on and off the pit road. Here he comes. He's going to be driving right by Joe. Was at a bad stop because he's currently back in the 9th position, so yeah, Joe having a very long stop on pit road. Dave Wright, Michael Cheeseburger, and Brian Merle Jr. all on pit road now. Kind of want to see what happened to Joe here, if he missed his pit stall or something, slid on by. We saw Isaiah Gill do that earlier in the race. No, he looks like he got into his box clean. Not sure what caused him to lose so much time coming off of pit road, but now he sees himself in the 8th position trying to run down Mark Shavers. So now Isaiah Gill
currently your leader. 2.5 lead over second place, Brian Nudie. So Nudie running a little strategy, kind of ran at the back of the pack all race long. Sees himself in second place, trying to run down Isaiah Gill. Devin Bacino back in the third position. A good 2 seconds behind Isaiah Gill, so we'll have to see if Bacino is able to use these fresh tires to get himself back up to the point. And Bobby Mays, Logan Hagerman, and Craig Schroeder sitting right back behind here, as well as Joe Wright back at 7th, trying to work himself forward. Chino has Bobby Mays all over the back bumper. Almost some contact between those two, so looks like the handling's gone away for the 68 machine as well. As Bobby Mays looks down to the inside, tries to look down to the inside. Well, they're beating and banging. And while that was all going on, we had a pass for the lead. As Isaiah Gill gets to the, Brian Nudie gets to the back bumper of Isaiah Gill. It makes easy work of the 2 machine. Chino now in a lot of trouble. Just got passed by Bobby Mays. Now he's getting passed by Logan Hagerman. And he's got the Forrest Schroeder. The only thing I can think of is that Bacino might be a lap or 2 short. And right now he's just trying to save a little bit of fuel. As Bobby Mays now going around the 2 of Isaiah Gill. And I'm kind of thinking the same thing about Isaiah. Maybe just a little short on fuel and try to save a little bit here. As the first pit stop they went 29 laps. The second one they went 28 laps for stints. As we take a look at the stint length. So I imagine these guys may be trying to save a little bit of fuel. Bobby Mays and Brian Nudie, though, not getting the message as they are side by side for the lead. Logan Hagerman there as well. And I think these guys' goal is just to run it hard and hope for a caution without being the caution. As Bobby Mays leads over Hagerman by just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and guess I'm exactly right. These guys back here are starting to save a little bit of fuel. When Bacino and Joe Wright were nose to tail, they were running 31.5s. Now on fresh tires, they're running 31.0s, which tells me they're just trying to save a little bit here to make it to the end. We have 20 laps to go here at Las Vegas. It looks like a couple of these guys are rolling the dice, sort of say, on their fuel. And if you're going to roll the dice and gamble for a win, it might as well be at Las Vegas. Brian Nudie all over the back bumper of Logan Hagerman as they come across the line. Bobby Mays continues the lead over Logan Hagerman, but Hagerman now looking down to the inside of Bobby Mays. They are side by side off of turn number 2. Brian Nudie right there. Joe Wright back up into the mix as well. I think he felt like he saved enough. Now he's trying to get himself into position. We've got Cody, Colin, and Will down in the the waiting room, watching this race as it unfolds. And right now, Logan Hagerman continuing to try to take the lead away from Bobby Mays, and it's still side by side for the lead. Get Joe Wright right there in fourth. Isaiah Gill back in fifth. Isaiah now looking down to the inside of Joe. Just not able to make that pass. Now Isaiah hangs back behind the 82. Here comes Devin Bacino, though, back into the picture. Colin Williams says, let's go, Bobby. Bobby and Hagerman are still side by side for the lead. Here comes Brian Newty, though, giving a little push through the 5 machine, trying to get Bobby up to the front. And keep Bobby up at the front. You come across the line, Bobby has now sole possession of the lead. We have just 16 laps to go here at Las Vegas. The real question is, can these guys make it on fuel? Oh, Hagerman pushes way up the track. That allows Newty to get down underneath. Move Brian Newty up into the second position. The Hagerman is now fighting back on the high side. While all this is going on, Devin Bacino still hanging back in the 7th position. I don't know if he feels like he needs to save a little bit more fuel still, or if he's just kind of riding it out, seeing if a caution comes out. Right now, Logan Hagerman up into the 2nd position. Here comes Joe Wright down on the bottom underneath Newty. Side by side for 3rd. And Wright now clearing the 40 of Brian Newty with a little slide job up in front of Newty. Newty crosses him over, though, down the backstretch. Isaiah Gill right there trying to help out the 40 of Brian Newty. Now Newty's going to throw a slide job of his own. Joe can't come back because he's got the 2 of Isaiah Gill right there on the back bumper. Thought Isaiah was going to try to make a move, but he was too far back. Now we see the 68 of Bacino starting to turn on the afterburners and make his way back through the field as he's looking down underneath the 6 of Mark Shavers. Can Bacino get back up to the front? Running back there in the back with the slower speeds, he's been able to save those tires. Logan Hagerman has a mirror full of Brian Newty. Newty now trying to look down to the inside of the 7 corn machine of Hagerman. Not able to quite get there. Now they're side by side for 2nd. But Hagerman able to get a good run off the corner, giving him a little push here to Bobby Mays. They were just almost 3 wide for a second. Hagerman to the top. Newty down on the bottom. Bobby Mays continues to lead as we have just 11 laps to go here at Las Vegas. Joe Wright trying to come up into the mix as well. Here comes Isaiah Gill looking down on the low side. Chino and Shaver still side by side. Great racing all over the track. As Bobby Mays gives the lead with just 10 laps to go here at Las Vegas. Does Bobby Mays, Logan Hagerman, Brian Newty, do they have enough to finish the race? Is there enough in the tank? Did Joe Wright and Bacino save enough to make it to the end? Same with Isaiah Gill. Now Gill's looking down to the inside. Oh, Brian Newty gets really loose. Some contact there. Here comes Joe Wright down on the bottom trying to get around Logan Hagerman. He's going to clear Hagerman, move right up into the 3rd position. There's a little contact between Hagerman and Wright. Now Bacino looking down at the bottom. They're 3 wide as they come across the stripe. Bacino down to the inside of Isaiah Gill. Saw some contact between Isaiah Gill and Bacino earlier in the race. Can that come back to haunt the 68 machine? As they continue to run tightly side by side. Joe Wright up into third. Pacino turns. Gill again. Gill up into the wall. Logan Hagerman as well. Yellow is out. Caution on track. That's going to bring up our first Wreckage Rewind of the night. See if we can get a good view of this. Try to find the best angle to see if we can see exactly what happened here. And it looks like Isaiah Gill turns down into the corner. Pacino, Isaiah Gill just kind of turns down into the 68, much like we saw earlier in the race. 2 comes up, catches Logan Hagerman. And I'm not going to blame either driver for that. That's just hard racing here at the end. 2 drivers going for the same piece of real estate. And unfortunately for Logan Hagerman, wrong place at the wrong time. Hagerman, though, is going to have a fresh truck and fresh tires. We'll see if he's able to do anything with that. I think this is just the break that Brian Newty needed. Save a little bit of fuel and be able to make it to the end. Blake Hensley says, oh, more Gil Pacino rivalry. I like it. There was a little incident earlier in the race between those two. Let's see if I can dial up what happened to those two earlier in the race. Was it here, right here? Yep, there it is. So early in the race, we saw almost the same thing between these two. Isaiah was able to hold on to it the first time. And then the second time, Isaiah was not able to hold on to it as he was turned right around up into the 7 of Logan Hagerman. Will Witt says, let's go, Bobby. Collins is cheering for Bobby. Cody Moore said what he said. Everybody cheering on Bobby Mays as Bobby Mays looks like he's going to take the high side on this restart. Don't forget to join us tomorrow night as the SCSRA Xfinity Series takes on Richmond Raceway for what I believe is the first race of the chase. Yes, that is the first race of the chase from Richmond. So you're going to want to tune in for that one. Points are reset. The top 12 battle it out for a championship. Tune in here tomorrow night at 9:30 Eastern for the SCSRA Xfinity Series. So here we go. We got them re-racked, restacked, getting ready to refire here at Las Vegas with just 5 laps to go. When they take the green flag, there'll be just 4 laps to settle it here at Vegas. Does Bobby and Nudie have enough fuel in the tank to make it? This also gives Joe Wright and Devin Bacino a little opportunity to get themselves back up towards the front. Pace car takes that hard left-hand turn on the pit road. And Bobby Mays hits the loud pedal, green flag back in the air. Brian Nudie under attack already from the 68 of Bacino. And Joe Wright right there in the mix as well. Bobby Mays has a mirror full of the 40 of Brian Nudie as Brian, a little contact there. Nudie makes the big move down to the bottom. Slide up in front of Bobby Mays, a little slide job. Some contact as Bobby Mays now using that bumper on the 40. We have just 3 laps to go. Bacino up into the 3rd position around Joe Wright. Now he's going to try to set sail and get up to the back bumper of Bobby Mays. Bobby's throwing a little block there down the backstretch into turns 3 and 4. Bobby runs up the track just a little bit higher. That's going to allow Bacino to get a good run on the bottom side, but with 2 laps to go, as they cross the stripe, Bobby Mays continues to try to stock the 40 for his win here in the Truck Series. He's going to look up to the high side here through turns 1 and 2. Now he's going to pull it back down low, use that hill to get the run off the corner. He's going to look down to the inside of Brian Newey there, side by side down the backstretch into turn number 3 for the lead. Bobby Mays down on the bottom. They make contact. Here comes Bacino now, trying to make it 3 wide. As they come across stripe, Brian Nudie's going to take the white flag. Bacino now down on the apron. Joe Wright above him, trying to get that position. Bobby Mays trying to get the fight back up to the 40. We've got a wreck behind Shavers and Todd Mays into the wall behind Bacino and Joe Wright side by side. Trucks are flipping and crashing in the back. Brian Nudie out in front. Can Bobby give him anything here on the last corner? Bobby looking up to the high side. Catches the wall, and as they come down to the stripe, Brian Nudie is going to win it. Devin Bacino is going to come home 2nd. Bobby Mays is going to come home 3rd. Joe Wright in 4th. And Dave Wright coming home in 5th. But your winner tonight, the driver of the 40 Coors Light machine, Brian Nudie. Let's take a look to see what happened to Shavers here as he just got turned by Chaput. Across the track he went. Logan Hagerman, Eddie Morris involved as well. Isaiah Gill getting a piece of it. And as they came across the stripe, you can see Bobby Mays trying to make that run there on the high side. Pushes just a little too hard. Catches the wall. That checks up Joe Wright as well. And Joe falls back in the 4th position. But now Brian Nudie on the front stretch, burning it down and celebrating. Colin says Uncle Todd Shavers feud brewing. Looked like a bit of a racing deal. I'm not going to put that one on either one of them, but let's take a look at your results here tonight. Brian Nudie comes home with the win. Devin Bacino, Bobby Mays, your top 3. Joe Wright just barely back in 4th. Dave Wright coming home in 5th. And Derek Chaput, Craig Schroeder, Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence, Brian Merle Jr. coming back for a top 10. And Eddie Morris in 10th after having a wreck on the first lap. Isaiah Gill comes home 11th. Logan Hagerman in 12th. Sylvan Seguin in 13th. Michael Provault 14th. Mark Shavers back in 15th. Todd Mays in 16th. And Matt Scott rounds out the field in 17th, 44 laps down. Well, I see a couple guys in the waiting room, but I don't see Bobby Mays in the waiting room just yet. So we will give him a minute. But man, what a exciting finish there at the end. Brian Newty getting the win. And yeah, maybe a couple feuds starting up here as just a wild, wild race to the finish. A race that started off so clean. A lot of green flag laps, and then the caution, first and only caution coming out with 9 laps to go. Well, I don't see Bobby in the waiting room just yet, so let's pull in Devin. Talk with him. Devin, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, Josh.
Man, what a wild finish there to the race. You doing everything you could. Bobby getting up into the wall, trying to pass Nudie, and you just being in the right place at the right time to get around him to finish in second. But, man, it just looked like a wild one. You and Isaiah running side by side for so many laps. And then the 2 incidents there towards the end, or at the beginning and the end. Could you walk us through what happened there? Was that an issue of just 2 drivers going for the same spot hard, or was there something else there?
I mean, we were racing hard, but the first one he came down on me a little bit. Didn't mean to whatsoever. He looked like he entered a little early for the corner. Then the second one, I was still under him, and he wasn't clear. The way these trucks jolt out, it's not smooth across the front. They come out just a little bit, and he clipped that, so I was underneath him both times. But it's just hard racing here. It's tough because you're pretty wide open here, so you have to stay as tight to the guy as you can to try and get by him there. So.
Yeah, that's for sure. And a wide open racing really wore down those tires. And I have to ask, that last run, you, Joe, Isaiah, you really backed off there at the end. Were you a couple laps short on fuel? Is that what you're trying to save a little bit of fuel there?
Yeah, absolutely. The way we pit, the last run was going to be about 30 and a half laps with our out lap from pit road, and we pit on 29:58. So the last run was going to be around 31 laps, and Joe stayed behind me the second run because I knew he was saving. I didn't have the luxury of doing that, so we were definitely short. We were saving, like you said, we were saving at the beginning of that last green flag stretch, or after the pit stops. And with about 15 or so to go, I think we were 0.2 to the good, maybe running out at the line, so we had to try and fight back for those spots. That's what we were trying to work our way back up through.
Yeah, and how about Bobby up there at the front most of the race, or at the end of the race there? Good feel-good story for him. I didn't see him pop into the waiting room, so great racing with him as well. But before we let you go, anybody you want to shout out or thanks you got to give here tonight?
Yeah, I just want to thank you for doing this, Josh, to everyone at Intensity. We appreciate it. Level Up Subs, new craft line jewelry and design. I appreciate them being on board for this, and congrats to Brian. He ran a really good race. So just looking forward to racing tomorrow.
Well, again, congratulations. I'm sure we'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Thank you, Josh.
So that was your second place finisher, Devin Bacino. Let's pull in your winner tonight, Brian Nudie. Brian, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
I got you, buddy.
Man, I didn't think you were in the truck to start the race, starting way back in the back, hanging around the back the entire race. And then something just clicked and you got yourself up to the front. Were you saving a little bit at the beginning of the race, knowing that it was going to go green, or was it just trying to figure out the truck there at the beginning?
Nah, I was trying as hard as I could. Everybody was just doing awesome. And I think just that last pit stop, I just pitted when I decided I'm going to pit when Bacino pits. It seemed to work out pretty good for him last time, and I was able to kind of leapfrog over him and get out in front. And I was able to stay up there. It was really hard to pass once the tires start wearing down, where you had to kind of crack the throttle going into the corners. So I figured I would try to do my best to try to get out in front of him before that time had come.
Now, with that being said, I know you pit with Bacino. Bacino was saving a little bit of fuel, him and Joe Wright. Were you going to be okay if we went green, or did that caution kind of save you there at the end?
Oh no, I was good by. I think I was good by like a lap, or at least half a lap or something like that. But the caution was nice, just in case there was a green, white checkered. It would at least got me through one green, white checkered. But yeah, I was good to go on fuel.
Well, awesome job here tonight. Looking forward to the race tomorrow night at Richmond in the Xfinity Series. Before we let you go, anything you want to shout out? Any thanks you got to give?
I got to give a shout out to Bobby Mays. He drove a hell of a race. He had a great restart. I was able to just able to get a good run on him, and for some reason it stuck going into 3 and 4, and I didn't have to lift. Not sure how it did, but it was pretty awesome that it did. And awesome job for him. I think he got he got second, right? Or third? Third. Okay, yeah. Sorry, stuck. He didn't come up for his interview, but shout out to Bobby May for sure. Shout out to Devin Bacino also in the top 3 there, and everybody that showed up tonight did an awesome job. Shout out to my beautiful wife for letting me do this. She's just getting over COVID, so am I. Doing a lot better right now. And then also shout out to my kids. They're doing better too. And then also Gil's Dump Truck Service and Pizzeria, the fastest dump trucks in the Northwest.
Well, there you have it. Thank you, Brian. Again, great race, and I'm going to throw a shout out here while I can. I did in the last race, I'm going to do it in this race again. Happy birthday to my beautiful wife. Her birthday was today, and I'm out here doing this instead of spending time with her, but we had a great dinner tonight, and great job tonight. Awesome show there at the end, and I can't wait to see what happens next week.
Yep. All right. Hey, thank you.
So there you have it, Brian Nudie, your winner here at Las Vegas, rolling the dice and getting the win here tonight. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow night for the SCSRA Xfinity race from Richmond. That's going to be a great barn burner as well if you like some short track racing. If you like short track racing, tune in Thursday night for the Thunderstruck Super Series here on Intensity Broadcasting on iRacing.com. Again, thank you for everybody who joined us here tonight on Intensity. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. Hit that notification so you know anytime we broadcast. We've been doing a couple special races here and there, and broadcasted the last hour of the 24 Hours of Daytona for the SCSRA guys. So if you want to know anytime we go live, we might go live when we don't have a series scheduled. So stay tuned for that, and some more surprises coming up in the next few weeks. Don't forget to don't forget to visit our e-store at IntensityBroadcasting.com for all of your league and Intensity merchandise, from hats, shirts, mouse pads, mugs, stickers. So check that out, IntensityBroadcasting.com. Find Intensity merch, SCSRA, Extreme Forces Racing League, Original Rebels, Thunderstruck. So anybody looking for a nice t-shirt, it's going to be right there on Intensity.com, IntensityBroadcasting.com. Again, for all your sim racer needs, for all your points, standings, and statistics, go to simracerhub.com. And for us here at Intensity, again, thank you for joining us here tonight. As our boy Atlee Atman Weiss would say, over and out.